No, we're not. We're not.
We'll
Going to.
accept the writing help because I'm sure we can run it.
All right, it says we're on.
If you would like to keep the air conditioning running because it's 101 degrees out there,
Oh my God.
On the pavement. It's not quite that hot in the shade yet.
Yet.
my
Oh,
car
summer is here.
my car said it was 101 when I pulled into the parking lot.
On the pavement.
This is fake out summer.
Yeah.
This is fake summer.
If you like coffee, talk to King Harvest. Let them know you heard about it from us.
Coffee
And-
is still good even in the heat of summer,
I
and
was gonna
warm
say-
coffee,
I
not
was gonna
cold
say,
coffee.
It makes just fine iced coffee, I'll have you know.
Iced coffee is
Okay.
offense unto nugget.
Okay, first rant noted. So you guys get to fight.
It's an abomination unto nugget.
The bell
Yes.
rings.
Let's get out the round girl in her bikini since it's hot. So
If you like smart ass t-shirts, he's got over 100 up. tinyurl.com among the leaves tees. Let them know you heard about it from us.
And if you don't like smart asses, you really shouldn't be listening to this.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna say
no, you shouldn't.
Well, Ian got a package this week.
And it wasn't ticking.
it was
Yes, for
not
once, it
ticking,
wasn't ticking.
and there's no food in it, and it's not mayonnaise. So
Man, it's interesting how she separated food and mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Um,
not food. So.
I got a couple of these from Jim Powell of Pasadena, Texas. Jim, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm busy hacking off the tactical internet.
Oh, apparently they're from Liz.
They're from Liz. Jim Powell is Liz
No,
of Pasadena, Texas.
she probably ordered it from them.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain. All right.
Yeah, you're exactly right, John. Decaf coffee is not coffee.
No, it's
Add
brown
water.
brown sadness water.
Unless you have a medical need for decaf, because that does exist.
It's even worse brown sadness
Yeah.
water. Because your line is weak and you should be ashamed.
We are not going to get into a discussion of the Pope and what he likes or dislikes. But I
It's too early to tell.
did think it was hilarious that somebody put up the first papal communication was that all wafers would be deep dish. I got to admit that was funny.
The jokes write themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I'm busy hacking off the tactical internet again. Law Dog's back. He's pissing off the tactitards.
there was a lady on X who I don't know what she is other than an author, and she was like, I'm going to make up a word, and it was tactus something. And I'm like, oh, honey. You are a little late to that party.
yes, Padre. Coffee is made from beans. It's a coffee plant. Decaf is made from the dirt.
At the base.
Yeah.
Swept up from the factory floor.
Yeah.
So I was visiting somebody here recently, an elderly lady of our acquaintance, and in her bedroom, on the bedside table, was a can of Raid wasp spray.
Yeah.
And this hill I will die on. So I was looking at it. I noticed inevitably the nozzle had been bored out with a hot needle.
Oh.
So I said, are you having problems with wasps? And very conspiratorially, she whispered that her grandson had recommended that for defending herself in the night against ghoulies and ghosties. And perps.
No. No.
this is the myth that will not die. This is the stupidity that will not. It clings to the bottom of the tactical shoes. Wasp spray is stupid. Oven spray is worse. Today's rant on Substack was about wasp spray. I'm very proud of myself and deserve a medal for not saying, Pat, your grandson's a fucking moron.
Even if he is.
Oh, he definitely is. The active ingredient in wasp spray is, and I have a scientist here, pyrethrins.
Pyrethroids are made from a pretty daisy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marigolds.
Not quite marigolds, but yes.
Something with it. It's a plant that starts with an M. Pyrethrins are also found in about the same concentration in the lice shampoo you put on your teacup human's head when he brings home the mechanized dandruff from school.
Yeah.
When you're soaping down Bowser after he gets into the flea patch in your bathtub with your bare hands, it's pyrethrins in the flea shampoo. Now, a pyrethrin, which will kill 100 milligram flea or 100 milligram flea, wow, it's a big flea, 100 milligram wasp, doesn't quite have the same effect on an 84 million milligram human.
Yeah.
It's not hurting you anyway. The same stuff that kills the wasps that's in the wasp spray, you put on your teacup human, on Junior's head when he gets the lice.
Yeah.
So here you are spraying. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there won't be an effect in 20 years when he dies of chronic kidney disease or some variety of cancer or something. But that will be about 19 years, 11 months, 29 days, and 11 hours after he gets done beating you with a can of wasp spray.
Okay, I have a question, and this is a little bit of devil's advocate, but
Go right ahead.
will it be an irritant in the eyes and face to get sprayed with this stuff? Because it does make a nice long stream.
Do you know what's an even better irritant?
I'm sure there's lots of better irritants. I'm just
Pepper
asking.
spray.
Saber red.
Okay.
Pepper spray.
And that makes sense. I'm just thinking that would a little old lady be able to get a hold of pepper spray?
It's Texas. You
You
can
can buy it.
you can buy it at Academy Sports.
Okay.
I buy the large economy size.
This is literally me going, okay, what are the objections to?
There are none. Okay, the genesis of this idiocy and the oven cleaner is it will do more damage than pepper spray.
No.
Oh,
One, it won't.
oh no. Okay.
If it
that
kills
stuff.
wasps, it'll kill two-legged wasps. No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Plus, pepper spray is designed for defense. And
Yeah.
I have several rules for jury trials. One of the big ones is do not squick out the jury. If you squick out the jury, you start behind the power curve. So if you're spraying somebody with wasp spray and the jury thinks that you're trying to kill him, you've already squicked out the jury.
Yeah.
If you're spraying with pepper spray that half of the folks in the jury have already been exposed to, it's
Yeah.
defensive. It's designed for the purpose.
Yeah.
Wasp spray is designed to get wasps. It's designed for human critters, for your free-range socialists. It's backed up in court. It's defensible.
So this falls under the same kind of category as the internet meme I was objecting to and got. Somebody tried to patronize me and I patronized her back
Oh,
harder.
good.
Where she'd posted this thing saying that glyphosate would kill you and your dogs and every insect in a 3-mile radius. And it's like glyphosate is to kill plants.
Yeah.
It has absolutely no effect on you or your dog or the insects.
Yeah. Here's a little thing.
So wasp spray is intended to kill insects,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
means it's probably not going to affect
It
humans
doesn't affect humans.
other
really does.
than ticking them off royally.
Yeah.
The carrier tends to aggravate eyes. It does.
Yeah.
But you know what? So does a carrier in pepper spray.
So does the active ingredient in pepper spray.
Yes.
The carrier is probably negligible at that point.
It's the same idiot thinking that gets us the use oven spray. I'm going to, okay. Every time I bring this up, and I've been bringing this up since 1999. He has too. I've been bringing this up since 1999. And every time I bring it up, somebody has to go, but La Dog, Ian, it's not legal where I am. Bullshit. I checked again. Pepper spray is legal in all 50 states. In some and the District of Columbia. We all go. District of Columbia. There are some restrictions in some idiot states. There are. But in no state can you not, if you are a person, if you are Grandma Frickert, in no state can you not buy pepper spray.
And also,
I was going to say District of Cockwombles, but I think
the other thing is, quite honestly, District of Corruption. That's true. Too.
District of Cockwamples. Look up Cockwample.
Pepper spray. If you are in your bedroom at night under the covers and somebody comes into the bedroom, how far do you think you're really going to have to spray? You know,
In
it's
your
gonna
house,
be
you're
6
not.
feet or less. Well, wasp spray reaches out 25 feet. Bullshit.
And okay, and
Are you in a fucking mansion?
it reaches out 25. So at 4 feet, it bounces back 21 feet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whereas pepper spray gel, which I like, Saber Red, large economy size, I'm going to hit them and it's going to stick.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And yes, all of us that were in the military have had CS, we've had tear gas,
And-
ad infinitum.
tomorrow's post will be on the EDC that is the recommendation for oven spray.
Hell. All right, enough of that shit.
I got a good one tooled up for tomorrow. This is stupidity. It really is. It's stupidity.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is, and it's connected to that same chemophobia that is so common.
Yeah.
Because people are told to use caution when using oven spray,
Yeah.
which they should. It's a caustic chemical,
It's lie.
and
It'll make
So
you sneeze.
well, it'll make you more than sneeze if you get a good lungful of
Yeah.
it. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be optimal to use as a weapon unless it's absolute last resort. Of you literally don't have anything else, and that includes your cast iron skillet.
The oven spray one. There was actually a national trainer that was that came on the firing line and recommended oven spray because it would melt the eyeballs of the attacker.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's
Don't
not,
squeak out the jury.
not the how that works.
I know.
No. In other news, let's talk about writing. One of the dangers of being a pantser, one of the many, is you can write yourself into a corner,
Yes, you can.
which I inadvertently almost did to myself because I was chugging merrily along and thought to go back and check a detail.
Uh-oh.
And when I did, I
The
went,
devil
oh,
is in the details.
shit. I almost left that one hanging.
The devil is in the details.
Yep. Hell, Tiff, I usually write my beginning and ending and then worry about what's in the middle later.
I know what the ending is, and I get there
Yes, it is for RimWorld.
originally. Oh,
Rick.
Rick is a happy man now.
yeah. I got, yeah, okay. Sometimes you can't fix it, or sometimes you fix it 5 books down the road.
In your 3-book trilogy,
Hush.
the Curtis trilogy, book
So
6.
yes, sometimes being a plotter is good,
And I wouldn't know.
but
Never been able to plot.
Yeah.
Well, I can plot. I just can't write a plot.
for other
Damn.
reasons, which I just turned into John of the Day. Yay, Tiff.
Damn good at plotting.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
she
got it?
I got her novel.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right then.
But what you have to do, and I have written a big note to myself and now pasted it on my board, is go back and read the story, dummy, and make sure that you get all those things that you left hanging out. Unless you're doing it on purpose for the next book. Which brings me to the first book I want to mention today, which is John Ringo's Not That Kind of Good Guy. The last chapter is a direct lead into his second book.
Man is learning. Man is
Yeah.
learning.
And for those of you that have not been on John's Substack, he wrote most of his main character, Mike's story in the last year and a half, and published it on his Substack.
At a chunk at a time. Serializing.
Serialized, yes.
Goodness.
Serialized for his paid subscribers.
Yeah, and it's very good. Very interesting. Very different.
Well, he gets
What-
full. He's got full creative control. He doesn't have to go through a publisher.
Well, it did get published through Bain.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it has.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, sweet.
Bain picked it up.
I'm sure Tony had a few words.
Take a
for him.
look. Take a look at the sales numbers. I'd have picked it up too.
Yeah. But the thing is, you've got to make sure you cover those bases, and you've got to have a plan somewhere out there. Now, how you get to that plan is up to you as an individual. But the other thing that I want to talk about, speaking of serialized, Wally's first serial is up.
Yes.
Sec- second one drops tomorrow.
Yep, it's doing well.
So good.
It's a really good. Wally outdid himself.
Yeah.
For a
It's such a throwback to classic epic fantasy.
for a freshman author, he set himself a pretty high bar to for his second one.
Yep.
For the sequel, he's got a high bar to clear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is that yes, he's a freshman author, but he's a past master of role-playing games.
Yeah.
So he's had, I don't know how many decades of storytelling experience.
Wally Watner.
Same.
Well, he's also an SCA bard, so his storytelling ability has been honed over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So he's, I mean, even if you haven't heard of him before, he knows what he's doing, and it shows in this book.
Same thing here.
And as Padre said, Holly Chisholm has a new book dropping tomorrow, The Passing of the Age. Holly is one of those people who writes a lot of, trying to think of the best way to put this, gods, but not in a godlike environment.
Yeah, she does mythology in more the classic sense of.
Wally the Bearded Wonder. Yes, Wally. Holly is a very interesting lady. Excuse me. Former college professor.
We've done so many of those.
And she takes the mythological gods and puts them in the real world and does it in a rather interesting way.
Got to be better than Neil Gaiman's version. That was a bloody awful.
Oh, God, yes. Much better. And more readable, even.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
So that book drops tomorrow. We've got Wally's out there. We've got John Ringo's out there. John Van Stry is working on his next one.
What is the man not working on?
Well, he's just coming off shoulder surgery, so give him a break.
Which slowed him down to about 50% speeds.
Yeah.
50,000 words sounds so.
Yeah.
surgery.
Yeah, he slowed down. Only 50,000 words
Yeah,
since the
he's turning it
surgery.
into us at the end of the month. So.
Yeah. Cedar Rick wants to know if you've got another Vulcan's Kitten book coming out in the future.
The answer to that is yes. And I know what that's coming from.
You
He's
realize
putting
you
the
just
gods
screwed
in.
up because now you promised something they're gonna be ping, ping, ping,
Well,
ping, ping.
Currently, the research on that one stalled out a while back because I want to set it partly in Africa.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough. Talking to Peter Grant about African mythology was an interesting experience.
It's African mythology. There's 100,000 different mythos.
Well, Peter's point was, and well taken, which is it's not mythology to the average African.
No.
Which means that I have to take the book in a bit of a different direction. But it's been on the back burner for a while. The third one does need to happen. The book that I'm working on right now, and I'm not quite at John's speeds, but I'm working on it. Well, I mean, if I'm going to earn my living writing, I have to be at John's speed.
Yeah.
So the book I'm working on right now will be done and published at the end of this month. And then I have to figure out what the next book is. So we go.
Onwards and upwards.
Yes, Casey Zell also has a new one out called Mage Light.
Interesting.
That just
That's an
published
interesting
earlier
cover.
this month.
It's an interesting cover.
Very interesting cover. And evokes almost, I would say almost a evocative of the 1930s, 1940s statues.
It looks a bit like. I'm wondering if her cover artist is one of the folks working on the fourth edition Dungeons and Dragons. Art.
Yeah.
More Chloe Cedar.
I heard and understood on Chloe because the sales numbers for Chloe are kind of astonishing. There's 4 books in the series,
Yeah.
and none of them are novel length, and yet it is out earning everything right now. So yes, I hear, I understand, and I obey. There will be more Chloe soon.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm planning on publishing something every month of the year. So much more rapid tempo than y'all are used to seeing from me. It might not be a full-length novel every month because I am still gearing up to John levels of writing.
Padre says, Odin, here's an 8-legged horse for you. Thanks, Loki. Where'd you get it? Don't ask.
Loki, the patron god of Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
Yeah. Who also, in the spirit world of the Indians, is known as the coyote or
Trickster.
the jokester or the trickster.
Trickster. Speaking of Trickster, as John pointed out, Weird West drops on Friday. That's our latest.
Yep.
Our latest anthology with a kick-ass cover by Sarah.
Yes, Sarah Clitheroe has been starting to add her talents to the Raconteur Press illustrations. So she's done the interior illustrations and the cover for Weird West. I think this is the first anthology in a really long time I have not touched. I have not had a hand in this one at all, which is excellent. It's so nice to be able to step back and breathe and write while they take care of it.
And that's also an excellent point. The Raven is also known as a trickster.
Yes. So when I wrote Pixie Noir, the Raven, based on my now late great uncle Dave, is the human characterization. But Raven is very much the trickster of pretty much all of the Indian tribes up in the Northwest.
Mhm.
The Dene all the way down to the Haida and the Tlingit. And the Raven for me is probably the first of my trickster gods, but I have an affection for them.
Yeah.
There's some really good books out there that explore the connection of tricksters globally in mythology, because it pops up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say in every mythos.
If you look deep
For
enough,
But in most
culture?
of them, yeah.
if you look
Yes.
deep enough, there's a trickster there.
Yes. It might be that there are elements of the trickster with others. I'm trying to think.
Brer Rabbit was trickster.
Yeah.
Brer Rabbit is very much a trickster. There's a Japanese, I want to say Daniken, but I'm not sure that's right. But she's a kitsune and a trickster.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you look, there's trickster spirits.
Reynard
in
the
almost
Fox
everything.
is classic trickster.
Yes.
Hell, in Northeast, Raccoon Trash Panda is a trickster.
Don't throw me in that briar patch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that at Disney.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
This is
Right out.
Kaiju is a trickster, yes.
well, kaiju are just extremely. It's Godzilla. It's
Yeah.
extremely large monsters.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much characterization Godzilla really gets, although I think in some of the later like movies and whatnot, he does wind up coming up as kind of a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't Godzilla fight Mothra off? Yeah, I don't know either.
No, Michael, this is simply a discussion.
What?
Ooh, look, a telemarker calling me.
Yeah, another one.
Another telemarker.
Ravens. Ravens are extremely smart.
Yes.
God.
They are.
Most corvids are.
Yeah.
The grackles are a corvid, but they when Trickster was giving them brains and the grackle showed up, somebody joggled his arm.
Yeah.
Grackles are not smart birds.
They have their moments. I have seen.
So do golden retrievers.
Yeah.
Still not that smart.
So when I was living in the Dallas area, I was just fascinated with the grackles because they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And they are corvids. So they're very much characters.
Yeah.
When you see them by themselves, not as a flock of millions being intimidating. But in particular, the parking lot at Walmart, there were always grackles hopping around looking for foods and,
Yeah.
and bopping around and pecking at things. And there were a number of grackles that had, one of them it only had one leg.
Yeah.
Another one had lost a couple of toes. One had like a feather left of the tail.
Yeah.
And it was just like they were all really interesting for me to watch, and they make such interesting noises.
Yeah.
I was thinking and still think that it would be a lot of fun to do a children's book
About grackles?
about
I'd rather do
grackle
blue jays.
grackle noises,
I'd rather do
Because-
blue jays.
because it offers such a fun opportunity for read aloud with noises.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing for little kids.
Well, I agree with John. One grackle is interesting. 400 are a nuisance.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
And yes, we usually get 400 at a time.
Right.
Especially
Absolutely.
in the spring and fall.
And then we get hailstorms.
Yeah, then we get hailstorms and all suddenly we're short thousands of grackles.
Yeah. RK says we have a crow nesting nearby.
I giggled
It
the
brought
entire
a golf
time.
ball after I dropped some sunflower seeds. Yes. Ravens will quote unquote buy things from you.
Oh yeah.
If you put out food or shinies,
They are definitely amenable to being taught.
Bribed.
Yes.
Blue jays are corvids, aren't they?
it would take 400 grackles, Todd. It would take 400 grackles to make a start on a gumbo. Because there is nothing there but friggin' feathers.
Yeah.
And gristle.
Blue
Yeah.
jays are not corvids.
Oh.
Blue jays are nasty little bastards.
Yeah. That's why I love them.
Well, I've got cardinals in the backyard and blue jays in the front yard. And the twain shall never meet.
Yes.
Because the blue jays will not come to the front yard and the cardinals will not go in the backyard.
Which is odd because usually blue jays stomp the snot out of the cardinals.
Yeah, they don't for some reason. I got two mated pairs. I got one in the back, one in the front.
We had after the last big big storm that came through, we had a raven in the front yard for about a day.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping I like ravens. They're cool. Kind of hoping he'd take a residence, but he buggered off back to wherever ravens come from.
Rick DMZ in the middle is robins.
And robin's only there part of the time of the year.
Yeah.
We have a nesting mockingbird pair in the big crepe myrtle at the end of my driveway.
Yeah.
And which is, even though I don't like crepe myrtles, I won't cut it down because they come back every year.
Yeah.
And I like listening to him sing because he has this whole repertoire,
Oh, yeah.
which includes somewhere in there a car alarm.
That's why they're called mockingbirds.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about ravens and crows, though. Japanese crows are a little different.
Speaking of critters, it's last time you were on was Thursday, and we had adventure at the shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Surprised no one's asked for an update on that.
Well, and let me finish this story, and then
Yes,
we'll
Japanese
get
crows.
to it. Japanese crows have about a 3-foot wingspan.
Oh wow.
They are big. And I was out smoking a cigarette one day, and I'm watching this cat, and I'm watching this crow. And the cat makes a hissing move at the crow, and the crow mantles on him.
Yep.
And the cat goes, uh-oh,
Done.
and Hall's button goes under the trash bin. And the crow makes a call, and all of a sudden there are 4 crows,
A murder.
a murder of crows, and they are circling that trash bin.
You're gonna come out sometime, Zippy.
And then they sat one on each corner, and they're all sitting there looking down, and they're chattering back and forth.
They're making plans.
I left before that cat ever came out, or the crows left.
That cat's still there.
Brilliant yellow sparrow-sized bird.
A goldfinch?
Goldfinch,
Goldfinch or a warbler. Yeah.
Oriole.
Not an
No,
oriole.
not an oriole.
Orioles come in orange. I mean, some of them are blackened.
Yeah.
But yellow is probably, and sparrow sized. Orioles are bigger than sparrows.
Yes,
It's
there
a
there
bird.
was a secret squirrel today.
There
It
was
was
wasn't
reference
today,
to the one
but-
that Jonna had in her shop
for
that flipped off Ian before he disappeared.
those of you who've been to the shop, Jonna has this green wingback chair. And I'd had a very, very, very bad day Friday. So I came to throw up something on the internet, walked in, and I stopped because there was a squirrel sitting on the back of John's chair.
It was
Who-
live.
It was a lie. I thought it was a stuffed squirrel. Somebody was playing jokes. And then he flipped me off and took off at a dead run. So I propped the front door open and ran around the shop beating on boxes and metal pans for about half an hour, just sure and certain that I was fixing that he was going to bugger off out the door. I was incorrect, because when Johnny got here the next day, squirrel was still here.
Probably wasn't here. He was nesting on my fabric shelf.
Dun, dun, dun. He was on her fabric shelf making a nest. Dun, dun, dun.
Death to squirrels.
So Dorothy got her a squirrel trap, and she slathered it liberally with peanut butter.
Well, I had to stalk it though, because I thought I had him trapped in the back bathroom, back in that area. But he was a wily little thing, and
Squirrel.
he was hiding under the back cabinet where there was a little tiny hole to go underneath.
Uh-huh.
That was his fatal mistake, because his only way out became the trap. So
So squirrel was snagged, taken to John's house, and turfed off into a pecan tree.
yes.
So
Where he is now sitting and looking and trying to figure out how to get into John's house.
Well, no, actually, he's pretty happy because he went
there's
from
lady
this stark,
squirrels.
this stark landscape of parking lot and minimal tree to suddenly he's in heaven with trees and grass and nuts and bugs
Lady squirrels.
and lady squirrels when he's a baby. And the squirrel says, I'm walking out of the shop. Another squirrel goes dashing up the corner of the building and into a hole. So stay tuned for the next squirrel adventure.
Yeah.
And I'm drawing a squirrel today, but not because of the squirrel in the shop, but for something else. But I do find it ironic that we're telling the squirrel story while I'm drawing a very dapper squirrel.
Very dapper squirrel. I'm impressed. With suspenders and a bow tie.
Yes, because Jacob Polo is guest at Pecan this year.
Ah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. Yep.
Next to draw David Weber as a squirrel.
That's gonna be a
First
fat
you-
squirrel.
First, you take a bowling ball.
Differ says we've reached the point of not schoolwork today because to preserve brain cells. Yes,
Mm-hmm. There are days like that.
yes, the RLF is out in force.
Rodent Liberation Front, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
That is a very Jacob Hole squirrel.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. So,
Yeah. Tiff, just do what you need to do.
yeah,
She has until September. She could be strong enough by then.
maybe. If she's not, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Bam Boncher just finished the first serial for Overture Shadows. That's Wally's book, for those of you who are not following. It was fantastic. Well worth the 5 stars I gave it.
Excellent. Thank
Yeah.
you.
5 stars.
Did you
5
put up a
stars.
review, please? Put up a
No.
review.
Actually, reviews are lovely, but the serials are only up for a limited time. So if you're going to write a review, unless you want to copy paste it on the book later, hold your fire on the review. Do ratings for the serials, please and thank you, and then a nice full review on the book later.
When the
Just
permanent, when the
because-
permanent book drops.
Just because of how we're running this, and this is still, y'all. This is still an experiment. We are open to feedback on
At
this.
the end of the year, we'll sit down and suss it out and see if we need
Yep.
to keep going,
We'll
or
crunch data, and
I'm not married to any particular TTP.
so this is we're figuring it out as we go, like we do so many other things.
Because we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Us take a scientific wild ass guess at stuff. How
Bingo.
dare you?
Well, you can't collect data until you have data. You
True.
can't evaluate data.
Anecdote.
So
Data is not the plural of anecdote.
and
to be statistically significant, you need at least 6 cases of each.
yep, and
Yep.
that's what we're shooting for.
That's what we're going for.
I mean, it's a small population, but it is a population, not just
Yeah.
a few data points. Now, I mean, we might look like we don't know what we're doing, but we do.
Oh, John David, the least you could have done was told us.
Oh yes, Is it completely out?
He says it is.
Okay.
I did release a short story collection over the weekend, ties in with some Raconteur Three Ravens stories.
So it's called The Lost Sword and Other Stories. I did the cover for it, and it looks really nice, if I do say so myself. But it's based on John's characters. So it's this really awesome mob boss looking tiger getting out of a limousine.
Oh,
Yeah, I had fun with that. And the reason I'm saying is it completely out is because I had delivered the paperback cover.
and EPUB.
Oh, good. I was worried about that paperback cover, so I'm glad it went through without a problem.
John David, you need to let us know
Yeah.
so that we can push it.
So for any of you that are releasing books, that you should always let us know, because Jim does a book promotion thing on his website. The other person you should always let know is Sarah Hoyt,
Yes.
who does her book promo on the weekends usually.
Yep.
And there's an email address if you go look at her site, according to Hoyt. Because
He did send the link to Sarah.
oh, good.
Oh, thanks. What are we? Chopped liver over here?
We just need to let them know, Jim, because I don't think people realize that they can send information to you.
How many friggin' times have we told them?
Not enough, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
I'm here to tell you folks, I have been an NCO in the Army, leading men, leading troops. I've been a deputy sheriff, a sheriff's corporal, a sheriff's sergeant, and a sheriff's lieutenant, leading men and women in doing various stuff. I did not realize a lot of things until I became a publisher.
That those same skills would come in handy again?
I did not realize that people whose main method of making money is the written word were so terrible at reading it.
Yeah.
Comprehension seems to be lacking.
Authors, and reading comprehension.
They only read what they want to read, including contracts. They don't read them either,
Not worth a damn.
as I've noticed.
I am making them read their contracts. I think I'm going to put like little things like if you get this far, you get a cookie. So-
Leading squirrels reincarnated as writers. Yep.
oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
John reads the contracts. The number of people we have quite clear process for doing things, quite clear dates for everything, and the number of people I get every day wanting to know when something closes or when the contracts will come out for something that's on Substack.
Or, like me, submitted it for the wrong one because I screwed up which was which.
Eh.
Yeah, the 1 year exclusive rights. Yes.
So so I have a stash at work where I answer most of my emails. I have a file that's got a cut and paste of every book or anthology announcement.
Yeah.
And when I get the inevitable, hey, when do contracts come out for Weird Warfare?
Go read the Substack.
Cut, paste, send.
Yeah.
Cut, paste, send.
Yes, the macro for Outlook. Per my previous email. Yes.
We have. No, I'm not going to go there. No, I'm not going to go there. 35 chart PowerPoint presentation as a contract. For government people, that would work like a champ. I am not a PowerPoint manager. You know how old I am? I use overhead projectors.
I was partially responsible for the Navy starting to use
He
program called
used
Freelance.
stone tablets and clay tablets.
I will have you know, we had an original 486 Vector from HP that didn't even have a serial number on it. It was so new.
I used overhead projectors. Those are fun.
So did I.
I loved overhead projectors.
I worked with a PhD at NRL that had every presentation he had ever given on overhead projectors.
I had an overhead projector and the grease pencils, and I had a Nerf a official Nerf brick.
Yeah.
It was made out of Nerf material, like the footballs, and it was colored and shaped like a brick. And the number of erring privates who were snoring during one of my presentations got hit with a brick.
You should have used a real brick.
I wanted to. CSM lost his mind.
Yeah. Joe says, I'm so old that I answer emails. Yes.
Which Joe is that? We know so many of them.
That's Joe. Eden Rapids Joe. Rick says, I'll see your HP 486 and raise you an original compact. Yeah, Rick, but the Navy did not, quote unquote, issue you an HP 486. It was, quote unquote, issued to us
The Wiffle
to
Duck.
see if we could break it,
The
which
Wiffle
we
Duck
did.
Duck is basically Nerf Brick 2.0. Not really, because it was a default. I grabbed a rubber duck off the desk and threw it at somebody. Instinct. And Jesse, bless his heart, I think Jesse's on here, was worried that a fast pitch duck might lead to issues.
Yeah.
So he made wiffle ducks that were lighter and didn't and would. I can't get them to proper velocity,
Which is a good thing.
which Rita says is a good thing.
Yeah, so anyway, this particular PhD had he had 30 years in government, had every overhead presentation he'd ever made.
Oof.
You walk in his office and there was a trail that was about 1.5 feet wide from the door to his desk. And there was his desk and a chair in front of it that you had to sidle into. The rest of the room, I swear, was PowerPoints or overhead friggin'
Here's Jesse.
with those friggin' overheads. They were everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I got out on a test where he was involved, and he was making transparencies during the test on a ship. But the all-time classic was something that I saw as a young officer in D.C. The Air Force, a lot of people don't realize this, has a squadron, Air Force squadron, whose job is to do nothing but make PowerPoints and overheads. That's their sole function in life, which is why every briefing you ever see involving the Air Force is absolutely friggin' perfect. Because that's all they do.
I don't trust perfect briefings.
However, we were in there, and it was an 06, an E7, and myself. And we had to go in and brief after the Air Force. We obviously did not have the same quality of briefing. I mean, not even close. I mean, the diagrams were literally done on a transparency and copied on a copier. So they were, they were hand drawn.
You know how many transparency I did on the fly with a grease pencil?
Yeah. Strangely enough, we got the money and they didn't. I think mainly because the gentleman that was reviewing the program went, these guys are actually working. Those guys, it literally looked like it took them 2 weeks to prep that friggin' presentation.
They weren't doing anything else.
And ours was done the night before.
Hey, Jesse, we'll have you know that I managed to detonate a wiffle duck.
Yeah.
We're at FinCon. Yeah, FinCon. Peter Grant uttered a pun that was so bad that the wiffle duck detonated when it hit him.
Yeah, Rick, I can believe that. Rocketdyne had a PhD retire, leaving a wall of 5-drawer cabinets of stored paper. Yes. The worst one, the guy that relieved me was former Army spook who came in the Navy after he got kicked out of the Army for getting blown up at the wrong place at the wrong time.
It happens.
His father-in-law was a robotics expert, one of the leading robotics experts in the world. However, his father-in-law was also a pack rat. They bought a second house and moved into it because the first house next door was full. He had so much paper that they literally bought the house next door and moved into it. And we're in the process of filling it. Well, Rick said they went down to visit one time and he asked his father-in-law a question. And his father-in-law said, "I'll be right back." Got up, went out the back door. Went next door, found the paper, brought it back, and handed it to Rick. And Rick went with him when he took it back. And he said, literally, passed through the house. Went to one particular stack, reached, pulled about the top 4 inches off, and shoved the paper back in. Man, was interesting, to put it mildly.
It sounds like it. Yeah, that was such a groaner. I sidearmed it with a little bit of top spin, and when it hit him, it detonated. Head went one way, base went the other. There were about 4 pieces.
Oh,
Not the worst thing that's hit Peter.
Steve says, A.B. Dick mimeographs. Oh, God, yes.
Point.
That used to be the fun thing when we were in school, was you get to go do the mimeographs.
You
Then you got high smelling.
You got to stay in the little closet
Yeah.
where the mimeograph machine was, and you were hiring a kite when you staggered out.
Yeah.
I miss mimeographs. I miss licking the paper.
Now, Rick, apparently that was a discussion he and his wife had before they got married, was that she was never to touch anything of his.
Anything of his?
Not physical. Anything not physical.
Okay.
The physical part obviously was pretty good because they had 4 kids. Sniffing paper. The good old
Sniffing?
days.
I licked it.
Yeah.
Probably explains a lot.
Okay, ours
Cedar just rolled her eyes at me.
was literally
I
a
didn't say
closet
anything.
Yeah, ours
with
was
no
too.
ventilation.
Ours was too.
And yes, you got hiring a kite in there doing those mimeographs.
Yeah, we get I was on the student paper for my sins because I could actually put
Yeah.
letters together into coherent words. And I get the first one out. It's like, yep, that'll work.
Yeah.
Woo!
We just had a really ancient copier, and about the 10th or 12th newsletter that we would print out, we'd have to stop.
Yeah.
And let it cool down.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
this was in the 1990s. We were past that by
Yeah.
then.
Joe says, I work shift work where my opposite documented his shift in excruciating detail and then filed a handoff 2 hours after I started my shift. So the information was worthless by the time he got it. Yep.
Then we go to Pecan. We'll be there.
Yeah.
We're quite fond of Pecan.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here drawing the official art for Pecan
Yeah.
right now. So yes, I will be at Pecan.
We will be at Pecan. And Todd will be at Pecan. He better be at Pecan.
Yeah.
I don't know what Crystal would do without Todd at Pecan, honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
I learned something at FinCon. If somebody says, "Hey, Ian's got a mic. He's looking for a multi-tool," Todd will show up at a dead run.
He's not kidding. I was in that panel.
He's got a
Oh.
microphone. He's asking for a multi-tool.
Raptor got a Tallow Edition Super Wrangler over the weekend. That's an interesting little pistol.
You know,
Pecan will
I'm
be in
glad you
Dallas.
added that it was pistol because my head was auto-filling pickup truck.
No, that's Raptor.
These days with truck names, how am I supposed to know?
That's
yes,
Tim Miller.
Bam.
His mics. I watched you come in the back door at a dead run.
Yeah, Bam. Believe me, Brunswick, Georgia had a paper mill back in the day. So, yes, it was a lovely smell.
Ooh.
The only one that was better was Bowling Air Force Base in Virginia or Maryland because it was downwind of the DC water purification plant. When the wind was blowing, yeah, people would literally go outside and throw up and come back into the meeting.
Paralysis by analysis. It is a thing.
Mention that Storm Dragon is the first.
Oh, we have news. Boy, do we have news.
Okay.
And I just flanched. Prometheus.
The Prometheus
The
Award.
Prometheus Award. Storm Dragon by Dave Freer is the first novel to be put up
this year.
on the list this year for voting. So we hit. Well, Dave hit, but we hit one out of the park.
Yeah.
Prometheus Award is by the.
Libertarian Futurist Society.
Yes.
It's the only award I know of that actually increases the value of the book.
Oh yes, Greg.
The
Blue
Hugo
Flames,
damn
thank
sure
you.
doesn't.
Yeah, Dave Freer has won the Prometheus once before.
Yeah.
So it's Sarah Hoyt.
For Cloud Castles.
Yeah.
And he is very much an individualist. Dave is.
Yeah.
Hadn't noticed.
So he's a natural fit for this kind of thing.
So yay Dave, yay us.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a feather in our cap to have. Even just to show up on the as the first one on the list for next year.
Yeah.
Is a hell of a way to go, Dave, and way to go us.
Yeah, Rick. We have all encountered that problem. Coworker that thinks perfect in a month is more important than good enough tomorrow. Analysis by paralysis.
Yep, good enough soon enough.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of authors suffer from that.
Oh yeah, especially newbies.
Yes.
We've got this one young lady that's peripherally attached that's been writing the same book for 15 years, and it's not perfect yet.
Yeah.
And we tried to tell her the first time she came to the writing group, we tried to tell her, get it out. Just
Yeah.
get it out. Well, it's not perfect. Doesn't matter. Get it out.
Yeah.
You've been working on it 15 years. It's the perfect you're going to get. Get it out. Start the next one.
Yeah, Wally. Never let the perfect become the enemy of good. It already is. The that's what's so frustrating. Because it's the same thing in anything you do. Can you be perfect? Yes, eventually. By the time you're perfect, is it any good? No.
Well, and the thing is people that are not trained to think critically, or surprisingly enough, the people who cannot think critically are the worst.
Yeah.
Paralysis by analysis. They really are.
Well, how many times in combat, the instantaneous decision made now,
Good enough, soon enough.
Yeah.
Moving on.
which the GIs, especially on June the 6th, were notorious for, much to the Germans' dismay, because they could not react fast enough. And one of the big complaints from the German hierarchy was, they don't have any leaders. How can they be doing this?
I'm sorry.
They had
It's
sergeants and corporals.
the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Chaos in a bottle. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. It's not going to get any better.
They were lucky they didn't get the Marine Corps.
Tufel
Hey, Bill, good to see you.
So yes. So the Prometheus, does that count as a nomination?
Yes.
He's been nominated.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then
he's
that will
always
proceed-
nominated. It's the first nomination of the season.
Yes. It's the first novel nominated for 2025. And the nominations then go through a process and they pick the finalists. And then from the finalists, they choose the award winner. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not familiar with the process for this, but it is exciting that it was even nominated. And I will run shy of most awards.
Yeah.
But in this case, I would love to be able to put that on the cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bam. A lot of new writers get caught up in the rules game. If you want to spin up Mona Lisa Foster,
I love my little sister, but holy crap, does she love her rules?
get her talking about the rules game,
Oh yeah.
and she will screw herself into the overhead twice.
It's fun to watch,
Yeah. Even more fun if you enter a White Russian.
baby.
The problem with Mona Lisa, she starts giggling, we start running.
two white Russians deep. She and Rita start giggling. It's a bad day.
Yes. As far as we're concerned, the Prometheus is the only award worth a damn, other than the Dragon, although I'm beginning to question the Dragon, especially since they've done away with the mill sci-fi category.
Well, that was the fans' own fault.
Yeah.
If you're not going to vote on it, why should they keep?
Yeah.
And that's shut yourselves in the foot there, guys. If the Dragon Award is not going to keep an award that nobody shows any interest in, it's not. It's
Yeah.
This is a good business decision.
Which is interesting because military science fiction, as far as the indie world goes, is hugely
Yeah.
popular.
Just apparently
So-
nobody voted on it for the Dragon.
Yeah, that's one of those oddball of, I have to wonder how much military science fiction readers knew about the Dragon.
Yeah, point.
Yeah.
Um,
Rick says that and damn near every GI could fix a broken down vehicle. Germans had to wait for the official mechanic because most of the American GIs had been poor before they came in the military. So yes, they knew how to fix a vehicle because they had to.
most of them were high school boys, and
Yeah.
that's what kept them away from drugs and wild women, was spending money on car parts and turning a wrench in the garage on the weekend.
Oh yeah, and inventing new car types. You
Yeah.
know, if you've ever seen any of the 30s and 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s hot rods, they are amazingly creative. And they were not done by engineers.
What about the
Which
Imaginary
might lend
Award?
to the creative, because if somebody hasn't told you you can't do that,
Yeah.
you might just try.
Oh, chopped and channeled Ford Model A's.
The Imaginarium Award. We like it.
Yeah.
It's tends to the niche. It doesn't really give you any extra sales.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows about it. But to win it's great because they are picking. It's an honest pick. To win the Imaginarium is great.
Yeah.
It's just don't expect any sales out of it. In the future, as Imaginarium grows, it'll probably become more important. But right now, yeah.
I won one, but actually for an audio book. So I never even got to hold the trophy.
Oh,
It was fair. The trophy went to the guy that did the audio.
Yeah.
As it should have. I'm just the writer.
we got one here somewhere. Imaginarium Award. Got one here somewhere.
Mm-hmm. David Weber as a squirrel.
Her David Weber squirrel's holding a pizza.
Yeah.
Because of course he is.
Yeah.
That is a very in
in
joke.
joke.
Yeah.
That was actually Jana, was like, because I was stuck and trying to figure out what to do.
Is that a deep dish? It's a deep dish pizza.
Well, it depends on your perspective.
thick
For
crust.
us, maybe not, but for squirrel, yes.
It's a thick crust pizza.
Robert says Germany was not the car culture it is today.
Van
Tiger may
Marshall
have
wants
been
to
the first
see
vehicle
David
18-year-old
Weber's
ever
squirrel.
drove. Yeah.
So right now, what you're seeing are preliminary sketches. There
Yeah.
will be a lot more work done onto these before they make an appearance on the badge.
We do like Pecan. Pecan is a happy, friendly little science fiction con. The way I hope the way they used to be. It's a happy, friendly little con where everybody's just having a good time.
Rick says, and this is true, and I can vouch for it, enlisted sailors actually operate the nuke power plants. Officers never touch the actual controls. They just think they direct the traffic.
Is Cedar going to give all the guests the squirrel treatment?
No.
No, I don't have space to do that. All the guests.
Not all, anyway.
Thankfully.
If you're wanting to see Kelly Grayson, Pecan is one of the few cons he'll make this year. So,
Yeah.
if you want to see Kelly, and give Kelly a couple Shiner box, and then stand back, and hopefully we'll get to do the Kelly and I get to do we have in the past the charity auction.
Yeah.
And we get tuned up. Kelly was
a
not.
little too much fun doing that.
Kelly will not be making LibertyCon. There's a conflict with an EMS convention that's going to pay him money, and he's being smart.
Yep.
Yeah, a number of people have sent me pictures of the meme of the F-18 wearing a life jacket. Yes, it was funny.
That is hilarious.
The reality, not so much.
Yeah, I don't think you can really keep something that. Well, it's not intended to go in the water, so keeping it
Yeah.
buoyant is kind of a lost cause, probably.
Yeah, he'll be at Pecan, but like I said, man needs his finances straight. So a con that is going to pay him to attend,
Yeah,
it's a wise decision.
Yeah, man, we don't expect people to show up. We're not all rich enough to be able to make it to all these cons as much as we'd like to.
John David Martin, LibertyCon sold out so fast. No, it didn't.
Not this year.
Compared to
4 hours.
24 hours, it's sold out in 46 minutes one year.
Yeah.
46 minutes.
Yeah.
It lasted 24 hours this year.
The real Thunderdome is the rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, the best ever was 17 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were all like sitting there.
Yeah.
Our computers
We had the page called up and we were clicking the buttons
Yeah.
and panicking.
So here's a hint, gang. Get on staff. Find a job. Get on staff. Because I get the link before anybody else now, and for the hotel. So
Read between
find
the
a job.
lines.
Hey, I got you a room, and then you canceled. So
Sorry,
yeah,
not by choice.
yeah, I know.
I need to get to TACCon one of these years.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom about that. TACCon did not even sell out immediately this year, which is
That's odd.
well. Anyway, folks, we've wasted another hour of your time.
One quick thing.
Yes.
Don't know if y'all know or not, but Rita's beloved 17-year-old Chewini, we had to do the needful on Friday. It really wrecked her. So if you've got some kind stuff for Rita, I'd appreciate it if you'd drop her a hug or something, because losing Chewy was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan shows up just as we're logging off.
Oh, the other thing, some of you might have seen it, that somebody got kicked off Facebook today. That was in fact Dave Spalding.
Yeah, David Spalding, not the trainer. We're talking the golden retriever in a human suit.
That's David Spalding.
Yeah.
Has been permanently banned from Facebook. No idea why.
Yeah, they won't tell him. He appealed it. Now, Dave Spalding, he's the husband of one of our editors, and he is the most even keel, thoughtful, and courteous gentleman you'll ever run across. He's a just all around good guy, and
Lawyer, former CBP guy.
and he's basically a golden retriever in a human suit.
Yeah.
He goes out of his way. He has really good cogent arguments, and he goes out of his way to make them as courteous as possible. And for some reason, the idiots at Facebook permanently banned him.
Anyway,
It's Facebook. It's
Yeah,
capricious.
it's
Don't
farce
don't expect a reason. Don't expect an explanation. Find someplace else to be.
Yeah.
There's a reason that I'm not on Facebook very
I'm
much.
hoping
these
he'll
days.
open a Substack, because Dave is a
That would be
fantastic thinker.
Yeah.
He is.
I really enjoy Substack. It's kind of a return
Yeah.
to the old days of wandering around and reading people's blogs.
It's kind of Wild West. There are some Substacks.
yeah.
Ooh,
Well,
but
I mean, that's the thing.
that's I will gladly happily take that.
freedom
Yeah.
of speech,
Yeah.
actual freedom of speech, instead of we decided we were going to ban you.
No,
now.
he does not have a Substack yet.
That we know of. I'm gonna ping Janet here in a bit and strongly suggest you start a Substack.
Anyway, folks, remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. We'll see you later this week. And it took 3 tries to get on today, but we made it the whole time. So
Yay!
thanks, folks. Appreciate it as always. Quit, stop, go away.